Hello, everybody, and happy attending our sixth annual Aphasia conference, The Ongoing Journey Living with Aphasia. I am so happy that we have such great presentations today. I think this is so inspiring for all of us and to learn more about living with aphasia. I'd like to thank the Department of Health again. Without their support and all these donations, we can't keep this going and keep it free. So once again, thank you to them and thank you to anyone that has donated in the past, now, and going forward. I truly appreciate it. I am going to turn it away to Katie Moses. I don't think Dr. Katie Strong is there at this time, so our assistant facilitator of the meeting today is our favorite speech pathologist, Kate Moses. Thank you.
Hi, there we go. Sorry, I was not able to unmute for the moment. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for bearing with us today. I just wanted to give a brief update. Dr. Katie Strong, who was our intended guest speaker and moderator this morning, is having some technology issues and very urgent family matters. And so unfortunately, she may or may not be able to join us this morning. But the beautiful thing is we have the real rock stars of the group with us, and I cannot wait for them all to share their stories with you today. So we're going to kick it off with one of our very own Just Ask members and volunteers. Lovely Kathy Card is going to share her story here in a minute, and followed up with support coach Anna. So Ben, I believe if you are able, will you please share Kathy's video for us today? Kathy is a person with aphasia who lives in Rhode Island, and we're going to share a little bit. She's going to share a little bit about herself with you all now.
My name is Kathy. I live in Rhode Island in my husband Barry. I have three children, Audrey, Norman, and Joseph. I have two grandchildren, the Bella and Mabella. I work for MedLife for 40 years up through the stroke. I want to say half aphasia and aphasia. 4 years ago is the tablet, and all the time I went in the home. In April 2020, I fell in the bathroom and hit my head. I don't know why. My husband found me in the throat, bleeding. The rescue was here, and I had to do the hospital for a scan for my head, and had to do the Rhode Island hospital for a MRI. I have a sixes in my face. The doctor sent me home. The 3 days later, I woke up and have a bad headache. I couldn't cook. Barry took me the Port Harlan Hospital that is closest the COVID, so Barry didn't say for me. I don't know what happened for 3 days in the hospital. I don't know. I can cough all the time. I can cough. In the room, I have a phone. Barry called me, and I could say home, home all the time. The doctor do the Barry would talk to the doctors, have a bleed in my head and a choke. It's hard. I have a BT and OT, no speech therapy, no speech therapy. So I can talk. So after 3 weeks in the hospital, I could go home for Mother's Day. I have a nurse, BT, and OT in the home. The nurse called the doctor for speech therapy. I do the speech therapy all the time. Barry was my rock. He always practiced me for me to talk and always do the passes and the other things. I have aphasia in the pasture. It's hard, really hard. Sometimes I don't know what happens. I don't know. I have no aphasia. I quit my leg back, but I know I have aphasia, so I can have to talk and do the speech therapy for me. Some people doesn't understand what my speech is frustrating. I can thrive, I can read, I can write, I have the daughters, but I can't speak. A lot of things for me is the family, but the family gatherings is hard, but other time is talking. I can say it's my turn to talk. So I'm sorry, I have to talk. Sometimes I have to do the boss and do the outside for the people. It's hard to me to talk a lot, but I can do it. It's frustrating for me for people talking to me a lot, but I have a book board for me to have to do that fighting for the people. I have the group I can do the troop for tax is a group for people in Aphasia. I have to talk a lot for the group is really good and how to do the games and the everything. This is my favorite for the Aphasia. After have to top working for bed life, I feel volunteer for American teaching for veterans. And I also spend time working for the task my group for the face for the death as for the harmony show brain freezer every Sunday. I do the sometimes I do the journal, what is called living in Aphasia, is for me to the one time, but all the time. In the summer, I like to golf. I like to do the Red Meat Park. My words now is leaving you for sure. My words is this. It has a patience for me to do the talking. The people, the church, the doctors, the nurses, and everybody, be patient, please. I can understand. I can talk. Thank you.
Kathy, thank you so very much for sharing your story with us today. And I love your ending message to medical personnel and just in general sharing about that you understand and that talking is difficult, but please be patient. That was so beautiful.
Yes.
I'm going to open it up to Anna to have her join you.
Before Anna said that, I would like to give Kathy an opportunity to say anything that she did not include in her story before Anna does, because I think that Kathy worked really hard on her presentation. really think she is so empowering. I've been a friend of Kathy for a long time now, and she is really a hard worker. She volunteers her time to her veterans group. She volunteers a lot of her time for Just Ask. She's attended fundraisers. Um, Anything that she can do to keep improving, she does that. And I just want to give her a lot of kudos for never giving up. And Kathy, if you have anything else you'd like to add, please do. And if not, that's okay also.
Okay, um, 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 all do the free turvy because he has have the better, I have to do better. So I have to do the free turvy all the time. My husband Barry is my fork.
Beautiful,
Thank you.
Kathy. And I loved how you shared about using your boogie board and using, just whatever you need to advocate for yourself and to communicate and make sure that you are part of the conversation. That's awesome. Thanks so much, Kathy.
Thank you.
You're getting an outpour of support in the chat there. I don't know if you can see it, but we have a lot of people who I think are resonating with your story, and so important for our storytellers today that are going to share theirs. All right, and I'll hand it over now.
Yeah, hi everybody. First, hi Kathy. It's been so long since I've seen you. I'm Anna Malfa. I'm a fourth year medical student at Warren Alpert Medical School, and I met Kathy in the fall when I was on my internal medicine rotation, and I helped her share her story. The project that helped me meet Kathy is called the My Life, My Story project, which originally was in the Veterans Affairs hospitals. That's how the project came to be. And basically it had interviewers speak with patients about their life story, and the interviewers would kind of type up this draft and share it with the healthcare team so that the healthcare team, they're busy with all their other tasks, they could read the story and find out a bit more about the patient, if they didn't have time to. And so there has been the palliative team at Rhode Island Hospital, Miriam, the VA, and Kent have brought this beyond the VA and incorporated into the curriculum for medical students. So each medical student can choose a patient and write up their story and put it in their chart with their permission. It's about a page. And so, when I first met Kathy, I was like, oh, I need to do my story with Kathy because we bonded instantly, and I could tell that she wanted to share her story and just needed a bit more time, and may not have had that time if, healthcare providers are kind of coming in and out of the room intermittently. So I had the privilege of sitting down with Kathy and listening to her story, which was amazing, and it's in her chart for people to see. And then, I know her speech coach, Sarah, worked with her to work on this story, and it was a really great process for me to see. And yeah, that's kind of the tidbit of what I have to share. I'm so grateful to have met Kathy, and it's amazing to hear her speak her own story in her own words.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anna, for sharing that. I think it's so important for any students who are joining us and even professionals to hear about the awesome opportunity to have student coaches support individuals with aphasia in entering valid and meaningful, important information about their identity in being able to relay that onto the medical system, right? To those who are caring for them. When people with aphasia don't have the opportunity to share about themselves with who is taking care of them, what a loss. So what a great, great opportunity and program that is. Beautiful. I believe that Dr. Strong is able to join us now, and so I'm going to turn things over to her, and we're so fortunate to have her with us this morning. She has another great project to share that is along the same lines of giving the voices to people with aphasia and letting them share about their stories. There she is. I'll turn it
Good
over to you.
morning. Good morning. I'm so sorry. I'm out here at my parents' house and it's in the woods and sometimes the internet. Good morning. I'm sorry that I am so late. A lot going on this morning, but I'm here in the woods in my parents' house and sometimes the internet works and sometimes it doesn't. So Kathy, I caught the tail end of your story and I just am so appreciative of you sharing that bravery, but also I think as Anna's talking about how important it is for healthcare providers to understand that patients are people and that people have lives outside of being a patient, and that being able to connect with individuals along those lines is really important. And I can say also I'm not sure how to kind of get into this. I know I'm very late coming to this, so I'd like to maybe just talk about a couple of things, but then set up our next storyteller about what we've been doing here at Central Michigan University. So I'm going to just screen share, and I've got slides that I'm going to just share a couple to talk about the importance of story, but then maybe skip through a little bit to be able to set Roger up, because I want to make sure we can get to both Roger and Becca's stories as well. So just bear with me for a moment here, and I'll see if I can get this screen to share. It's great to see such a great crowd this morning. Let's see. I'm going to just, share my screen and see if I can do a little bit of this. Does that look good to everybody here? Let me just move this out of the way.
Yes.
Things look good.
Yep.
I can
Okay,
see
great.
that beautifully. Mhm.
Okay, fantastic. So I apologize. We've got such a beautiful lineup here, and I've been looking forward to this talk for a very long time. I think Kate shared a little bit, and I just want to say thank you to Aphasia Ask for having these great conversations happening throughout the month of June for the last 6 years. I mean, that's pretty amazing. So, but for some reason, I just wanted to start off. I think Kate shared that we're having a lot going on in my family. My dad died earlier this month, and today is his memorial service. So I just want to dedicate today's talk to that. So what we're going to do today, and I'm so sorry that I'm showing my emotional side, but I think that being able to tell stories is really an important part of being human. And so I was asked to talk about why stories are so important, and how they can help us make meaning out of things that are exciting and chaotic and have significant loss, as well as to help us move forward. And we were able to hear from Kathy already, as well as Anna's experience in supporting Kathy. I'd like to showcase a little story coaching project that I've been working on, and Roger and Erica are going to share a little bit about what that was like for them, and showcase Roger's story. And then we'll maybe talk a little bit about if you're interested in doing just story work, not necessarily the kind of story work that Roger and I did or that Kathy did, but there's lots of different ways to tell stories. And then we'll wrap it up with Becca's story. And we hoped to have some time for conversation and questions today. So I'm just going to showcase a little bit of the slides here and then get into Roger's story, if that's all right. So the thing that I think is important that we're talking about, and you know, there are almost 90 people on the call today, is that stories are really what make us human. And when things happen to us that are tragic, we want to be able to talk about it and tell stories and make meaning out of what happened. Many of you who are on the call have had some sort of life event, like having a stroke or having a brain injury that caused your ability to engage in your life the way that you wanted to. It made a major change in that. And being able to share stories and make healing, being able to help ourselves move forward is really how we move forward. So if we think about it, that stories are really kind of, I like this quote by Christina Baldwin: words are how we think, but stories are how we link. They're how we connect different things together. And this happened and that happened, and why did this happen? Or all of those sorts of things. So really what we're talking about today is that stories have power to help us make meaning out of things that happen in our lives. And they can help us connect what's happened in our past to our present and help us envision the future. But stories also are powerful in being able to have relationships with people, right? That's how we connect with people, our friends, our family, our physicians. We tell stories about who we are and what's happened to us, and that helps us deepen our relationships. And these stories that we tell ourselves and tell others really can contribute to how we view ourselves, and that can impact how we feel about ourselves, how we think about ourselves, or how we might talk about identity. So there are some important concepts in storytelling that I wanted to talk about. And that first one is that identity, right? This idea of who I am as a person. And we have many identities as people. Right now, I have an identity as a researcher and speech pathologist who's sharing my expertise with you on story. But I have later in the day my identity as a daughter and a sister. I've got, different identities, and they shift throughout the day, and you all have them too, right? Depending on the environment that you're in and where you're at, how you view yourself really is an important aspect of how we share stories. Also, then the concept of being able to be a storyteller is the actual story, right? So the what's happened and how you tell it. And we're going to talk about how the words that we choose can really impact how we view ourselves and also how other people view ourselves as well. And then this idea of you can't just tell stories in a vacuum, right? Even if we're writing stories, they can be co-constructed in this sense that if I'm telling my story to you all and I get a certain reaction, I may choose to tell that story again because it was positively received. Or I think we've all had experiences where we've shared stories and we didn't get the reaction that we were thinking that we wanted to have. And we might not ever tell that story again. Or if we do tell that story again, we might tell it differently. Or if someone says, hey, I didn't see it that way, I saw it this way, that helps us to kind of think about how we might move forward or get stuck or those sorts of things. So these stories really are important aspects of who we are as people. And stories come in different sizes. There's tiny stories. These are the things like, hey, you won't believe what happened to me today in the parking lot or at work or with my granddaughter, right? These are the little tiny stories that I hear sometimes too, that our clients with aphasia, they miss those stories, telling those small stories and family members. Those are how we connect with people. But also these kind of middle-sized stories where maybe something's happened, like you've had a stroke and have aphasia or cancer or those sorts of things that don't take up your whole life, but that are, a significant part of your life. And then these bigger stories, this whole, like my whole life, here's my childhood through my adulthood and all of those sorts of things. So stories come in lots of different sizes. But story is not just about where you're going, the destination or the actual story. It's also about the journey. And I think that Roger and Erica and Kathy, Anna, Becca can all talk about that. It's not just about the product that it's about this process that you're going through to help you with your healing, to be thinking about, why did this happen? Or this is life before I had my aphasia, my life now, thinking about the future. So there are a couple of things I want us to think about, and then I'll maybe stop and talk and maybe pass it over to Roger. But how we talk to ourselves, the stories that we tell, the words that we choose to share can influence how people view us and how we view ourselves. And so this researcher from Northwestern, Dan McAdams, as a psychologist, he talks about two different kinds of stories. There's this idea of a redemptive story. Something bad happens, and despite that, we turn it into a good story. Okay, so I think many of us on the call can relate to, I had this health event, I have had a stroke or a head injury, I have aphasia now. That was a really significant issue. It was pretty bad, really bad. But now I have more time to spend with my family, or I'm able to, I can't go to work. That's a really bad thing, but I have more time to do this volunteer work, or engaging things. And people who can view life from a redemptive standpoint have more capacity for growth and being able to really receive and move forward, okay? Versus this idea of a contamination story where something great happens, but I'm going to find something wrong with it, right? Something's bad. I won the lottery. But now everybody, I don't know if they really want to talk to me because they like me. I think they want just for me to give them money. Right? Or it's just, I can't go anywhere without someone recognizing me, or those sorts of things. So, thinking about how something that could be really positive can turn negative. And people who are tending to tell more contaminative stories can be more anxious and less generative, or this idea of being able to have capacity for growth and contributing to others. So there's this idea that people who live meaningful lives tell stories that are more redemptive, or that they're defined by growth and communion and agency. And so that's really powerful, in that the words that we choose, how we choose to frame something, can really make an impact on how our mental health, how our own ability to view ourselves in our identity, is really significant. So even making tiny edits to stories, and I think maybe Kathy and Roger and Becca can talk about, when you're thinking about your stories, having time to think about, oh, I could tweak it this way or that way, or those sorts of things, can really have a major impact on your life. So you all know how aphasia impacts story, right? The thing about story is, if we believe that we are the stories that we tell, and we use stories to make sense out of life, connect with friends, stay in touch with family, process our emotions, and share about ourselves, well, that all has to do with language, right? Stories are language based, and aphasia really can just take the wind out of our sails for story, right? It can strike at who we are as people and disrupt the continuity of story and really damage that language storytelling. And so what I think we're talking about today is that people I'm going to stop. People with aphasia may need support in telling these powerful stories to move forward. Okay. And so Roger participated in a program that I designed based off of my dissertation work that I'm just going to pop forward a little bit here. And that this idea of people with aphasia needing support, people with aphasia bringing their expertise as the storyteller about their life, and speech language pathologists like myself or Anna or Erica, who's Roger's story coach, can bring their expertise in supporting communication and identity to be able to help people who are interested in doing this work. It's not for everyone or it's not for every time, but doing this work to be able to move forward. So what we did is, I know this is kind of a busy slide, but I designed a tool to support clinicians, my colleagues, in how they might do this kind of work with people with aphasia. And we're really talking about four things: who I was before my stroke and aphasia, talking about my stroke and aphasia, or if you didn't have a stroke, whatever it was that defined your aphasia, thinking about who I am today. And then a really important aspect is thinking about my future and goals. And so this idea of thinking about those concepts we talked about earlier, spending time with a clinician or a family member or, whoever, thinking about this story and revising it and editing it and remembering that journey, right? It's not just about the story you're telling, it's about the process that you go through to get there. Then that storytelling that happens with the clinician as you're sharing it, but also like in this gathering today, right? Roger and Kathy and Becca telling their stories and having that receiving of how things are shared and how that inputs, and then that influencing who we are as people and how we view ourselves. So we turned this into an online program during pandemic with virtual connections. We took the My Story project from my dissertation and moved it to the virtual. And this is a busy slide, but we essentially each semester take 4 to 6 storytellers, members of Virtual Connections, and 4 to 6 of my graduate students from Central Michigan University. And we meet over the semester for about 12 weeks, once a week online to work on story. And then we have this, once we get through all of that work, the story coach and the storyteller are paired. They work over the semester, and then they share the story at the end of the semester within our small group, but then also in this larger venue with virtual connections in a member spotlight. And that's what Roger's going to share with you today. And so I'll hand it over to Roger and Erica and let them take it from here.
Okay, so I will be sharing Roger's story. Let me share my screen and I'll let Roger take it away.
Okay. My name is Roger. I'm from Bladder, BC, Canada. I was born in Montana. I was a preacher's kid. I lived all over. I have dual citizenship, U.S. and Canada. I'm a lifelong learner. I like basketball, football, golf, and fishing. I have a bachelor's degree in religious education. I have a BA in psychology. I have a master's in clinical counseling. I'm a certified leadership and recovery coach. I worked at Union Gospel Mission 25 years. And then it happened. March 28th, 2019. Hold on. At work, leaving to go home in the parking lot, I had a cardiac arrest. My wife pumped my heart until the paramedics arrived. The paramedics said it was 45 minutes too long. Too long. Not he'll make it, but I did, because God is not done with me yet. In the hospital, I had a stroke. April 2nd, 2019. The doctors said I may not walk again. I have a difficulty moving my right arm. I could only say one word, for I think I was golfing. I transferred to Laurel Place Rehab May 14th to July 11th, 2019. May 24th, 2019, I walked a walker for the first time. Now I can walk and use the stairs. I had PT, OT, and speech about 6 to 8 hours a day. My recovery, have hope and never give up. It's my in the hospital. I'm a Jesus follower. My faith gives me hope. This Bible verse got me through everything now and continues to give me hope and strength to this day. It was Isaiah 41:10. be don't be afraid. I am you within you. Don't be discouraged, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will hold you up. My victorious right hand. Now with aphasia, now it's my favorite verse, Bible verse is Isaiah 40:31. But those who trust in the Lord will find new strength. They'll soar high with eagle's wings. They'll run and not grow weary. They'll walk and not faint. Aphasia is really frustrating. I know I want to say something, I can't speak it. So I have some strategy, like practice, 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 and then slowing down and taking deep breath like this. Slow down. My wife, Barb, helps me. I have to stay connected, family and friends. Because COVID-19, I had Zoom about now 1 or 2 sessions daily. I have a PT two times a month. I have support group, virtual connection, aphasia recovery connection, National Aphasia Association. My group is Delta Stroke Group, and after Stroke BC. I have friends and family. This is my wife, Barb. In August, will 45 years of my marriage. My family is Andrew, Barb, me, and Ashley. Ashley is a single dad, mom with kids. This is Paul and Marlene, the service dog, Nomi and Nate, Caden, Andrew, and Stephanie, and new baby Benson. I have really good friend Rob and Terry walking with a journey. Goals: I want to educate people about aphasia. Takeaway message. Aphasia can be frustrating. You think you're stupid and why me? You can be isolated, confused, and lost. But faith and hope and to support from family and friends and connection makes you feel understood. In the hospital, what out? In the hospital, my kids said, Dad will. Never give up. My name is Roger. I'm a a aphasia warrior. I will never give up. Thank you.
Mm. Roger, powerful, powerful. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. We'll have some time in just a little bit to have questions and things like that. I think we can all feel your story, Roger, and your bravery. I wanted to say it's been a little bit since I've heard your story, and it's changed. You've changed it, and since the original story, and I think that's
Yes.
that's part of it, right? It's not just you tell it and it's over, right? This is an ongoing process where the tweaks and the changes and the edits and those sorts of things. So how beautiful, how beautiful. And I think, sharing stories in a venue like this can really be powerful for everyone and give us some really important things to think about. In the spirit of time, I'm going to pass it over to Becca, who's going to share her story. And then I think we'll maybe have a little bit of time for some questions and things like that. So Becca, we'll hand it over to you.
Hi guys, how are you guys doing? All right, I'll share my story. You guys, hold on for a second. Mm, Okay. So good morning, guys. My name is Rebecca Nordest, or Becca for short. And this is my story. 5 years ago, at the age of 26, my husband and I graduated from UMass Dartmouth with our master's in business. We are so excited to be done and so ready to start our new chapters of our life. I was working for Newport for like almost 3 years at the time. Um, I loved my job, but it was very stressful and exhausting, but rewarding. Um, one week after my stroke, after my graduation, I had a terrible headache. Um, I took some Advil and but it wasn't going away. The the next day, I went to work and came home. My headache still lingers. So I took some more medicine. Um, After about 15 minutes later, I decided to continue with my normal routine and begin my workout. After a few minutes of my workout, I passed out. Thankfully, my husband was already on his way home. He saw me lying on the floor, unable to move, and called 911. When the ambulance arrived, I was kind of alert. Um, my husband told me that my face drooped on the right side and I couldn't move anything on my right side of my body. Because of my age, the paramedics assumed that my symptoms were drug related. They took me to San Ann's Hospital in Fall River, where the doctors gave me a TPA to get rid of the clot in my brain, but it didn't work. They transferred me to Rhode Island Hospital in Providence. They tried to help again, but again, they weren't able to. I had to suffer this full stroke. My brain was bleeding and swelling. The doctors told my family that if the swelling didn't stop, that that they would need to cut open my skull to alleviate the pressure. After this time, several friends and family came to the hospital to pray over me. Shortly after, the doctors came back and said that the swelling went away and they and no longer needed to conduct the procedure. For for the first week or so, I couldn't say anything except my name, Becca. The second week, I could say a few words, but it was random. Like baseball, butter, that kind of thing. After that, Rhode Island Hospital sent me to Spalding Rehab in Boston. I had speech pathology, I'm speech therapy, occupational therapy, and physical therapy every single day for 3 weeks. I came home, and my supervisor and my coworkers were asking if I'm ready to go back to work. At first I wasn't, um, but after 10 months of intense therapy, I was able to return to work. It was hard, and frustrating. I I used to take notes, but now my hands weren't functioning properly. My right hand, and my speech was terrible. I couldn't read or write, and remembering how to do my work was very difficult. Um, but I still pushed forward, getting better every single day. Today, I'm a mom to a beautiful 1.5-year-old boy, Jax, and I'm having another baby in the fall. It's funny, how I never heard of aphasia or apraxia before my stroke, but now it's such a large part of me. Despite the trouble and the difficulties, I wouldn't trade a second of it. Not the stroke, not the aphasia or apraxia, none of it. In Romans 5 tells me that suffering produces character, uh, ca- um, character produces, I'm so sorry. Suffering produces endurance. Endurance produces character, and character produces hope. And hope doesn't put us to shame, but God's love has poured into our hearts. What some people may see as a tragedy, I see as our I see as an opportunity. What was meant for evil, my Father in heaven has turned for good. With with uh, without my stroke, I wouldn't have the friends I have today, like Denise or Ken, or so many others. I wouldn't have the same appreciation for life, for my family and friends. I wouldn't have my beautiful children. Um, every struggle was worth it and is worth it. Aphasia doesn't define me, but it will forever be a piece of my story. And for that, I'm grateful. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for everybody. This is so empowering. And I'm so grateful to have all of you. I didn't think it was going to be this emotional, but thank you all for telling your story, because we're not alone, because we're all together. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Denise, for putting all this together. We love you.
Becca, that was fantastic. So powerful. And I think I've never met Becca before. I popped into this Zoom and just thinking about like all of the redemption and storytelling and the, thinking about negative things happening that can cause positive, really showcase in your story. But I think what I take away is, this idea of hope and that, I come into this space as a clinician and a researcher, but, really helping my students and colleagues understand that our role as therapists isn't just to it really isn't to fix things. It's to inspire and provide hope and provide techniques to help people improve and get better, but that we really have to help our the people we're working with find hope or empower their hope, and not poke holes in that. As clinicians, I think sometimes we have the capacity to do that. So so thank you. Well, I think we're open we have maybe a couple minutes, like 5 minutes for a couple questions, Denise, do you think, or do you want to wrap it up?
No, I think we should give a little opening to give, we can kind of. Dr. Katie Strong, can you wrap up the summary of what we had as much as you can in a quick clip it?
Of course. Yeah, wow, this was a powerful experience today. I so appreciate Kathy and Roger and Becca sharing their stories. And I think we can all take away that, stories are part of our lives. They're the fabric of who we are as humans. And being able to process what's happened to us, particularly when there's significant loss, like not, having a different life post aphasia can really be challenging, and that stories can be a way for us to move forward, and that clinicians are learning that this is an important aspect of our work, and that we can support people with aphasia, but also that people with aphasia can do this work on their own as well. But that also stories sometimes can be very personal, and you can share them with just, people who you're close with, but also what we saw today is this advocacy, this powerful, like what happens when you take the risk to share about yourself and the challenges that you're having, that really can provide healing, not just for yourself, but all of us in this beautiful space together. So thank you very much, everyone. And it's been, just a really pleasure to be a part of this today. Thank you.
Well, thank you all for our keynote speakers, and thank you to all my aphasia heroes. Thank you.
Yeah.
And first, I just want to dedicate this to Dr. Katie Strong's dad. So thank you for having a beautiful daughter here. Thank you. Welcome all for attending our 6th annual conference. It will be recorded, and you'll get an email letting you know when it is available for everybody. Thank you all for participating and sharing your stories. I would like for you to continue to check out Just Ask, our website of other resources, information we have. And coming in July, we have our groups up and running. We have our Aphasia Social Network group every Monday night, facilitated by Kate Moses. We have a Care Partner group held the 3rd Wednesday of every month. And we will be having a in-person group coming up in the fall, working with URI. So thank you all for supporting us with aphasia. Thank you for supporting Just
Speak
Ask.
low. You need
And-
low.
I can't when it's recorded.
And then I
Speak
would
low.
like, one more minute, and I would like for everybody, if you can, help us
Wait,
continue the services we're doing. Please help us continue the services we are doing, and if you can make a donation, we would truly appreciate it. Thank you and enjoy your summer. See you in the fall.
Denise,